Hi everyone. My name is Malik, and this is my emergency triage agent built from as my capstone project for the 5 AI course. So many people struggle to understand whether a symptom is serious or not. They feel unwell. They often turn to the internet or general chatbots. These systems are not built to triage, so people get mixed or unsafe guidance. This leads to two problems. Some delay urgent care, and others flood hospitals with non-urgent cases. Both outcomes put pressure on healthcare systems and put people at risk. My project aims to reduce that confusion. The Emergency Triage Agent is a multi-agent system that walks users through a simple, safe, structured pre-triage flow. It does not diagnose anything. Instead, it helps users clearly express their symptoms, evaluates risk using controlled rule-based tools, and provides easy to understand next steps. The system uses several agents working in a sequence, so we are using the sequence architecture for the agent. And these are the agents that we're using. We're using a symptom extraction agent, a risk assessment agent, a location agent that's using the OpenStreetMap to find API to find the nearest hospitals to the patient, an escalation agent with human in the loop approval, an explanation agent that gives friendly guidance. It also includes session state, memory, context comparison, long running operations, and full observability through logging. All of these are concepts that we learned during the course of this 5G GAI program. The goal is simple for me: help people make safer decisions in moments of stress and support better use of healthcare resources. Today, I'll show you a quick demo of how the agent handles both an emergency chest pain scenario and a mild non-urgent case. Let's jump straight into the demo. Great. So this is my pipeline. This is the pipeline that for the emergency triage agent. So for the sake of time, I will not dive into much detail in regards to each of the cells, each of the stages. So I'll just browse through me and just show you the actual test run of what we have done. So here is the import and setup, importing the LLM agent, the sequential agent, the runners and the memory and the custom function tools. So I'm using the Gemini 2.5 flashlight model. Here I'm using the Google API key. I'm importing the Google API key. I'm doing them. Here I'm configuring my logging for observability, of course. Here, I'm doing the later config. As we all know, this is very crucial to ensure that the model, in the event there is a failure, the model can still try on its own without having to report failure. This is the helper functions I'm using. This is another helper function I'm using for the risk assessment. This is another helper function I'm using for to find the hospitals, and then this is for escalation. So yes, this is where I define my agents, right? So this is my symptom agent with clear defined instructions, my risk agent, my location agent, my escalation agent, and my explanation agent, right? So and this is the pipeline assembly, right? So here in the pipeline assembly here, uh, so like I said, we're using the sequential agent architecture because I believe personally that this is the most ideal architecture for what the flow that we have in the process. So from the symptoms to the risk assessment to the finding locations to the escalation to finally the explanation. So this is why we're using this architecture. And then we have the yeah. So this is we have the orchestration as well. We have the workflow orchestration here. So now this is the demo. We have defined two types of demo. We have the mild case and the emergency case to show you the two sides of the potential response from the agent, right? So in the mild case, the user has an upset stomach and mild nausea since morning. And in the emergency case, the user has sudden weakness on their right side and stored speech for over 5 minutes, right? And here in the emergency case, they have provided their 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 location because in the ideal use case of the agent, if it's an emergency, the user will need to provide their location for the for the agent to be able to give them the nearest hospitals around them, right? So this is a simulation of that, And then yes, so now here when we run this, we are also running the mild case. So when you run this now, so these are the steps that the agent is taking to arrive at its final output or final result, right? So this is what is happening here. Um, so first it invokes the symptom agent. The symptom agent collects the symptoms. So collects the symptoms. Then uses from collecting the symptoms now, it then goes to the risk assessment agent. Risk assessment agent here was, like I said, is responsible for evaluating the risk of the symptoms that's collected from the patient. And in this case, this is the mild case. So in this case, it will know it will automatically know that this is not high risk. It will tell the patient. So it will go next, just following the architecture, of course. It will go next to the location agent, but it will not do anything in the location agent, right? It will just return null values because first of all it's a mild case and there's no need for location to be provided, right? So it will not really provide and do anything to the location agent here in this case. And then it then goes to the escalation agent as well. Escalation agent as well will not really do much in this case because it just escalated, but it doesn't really do much. It just uh, takes it to the next step, which is the explanation agent. And then the explanation agent here then takes the entire input and everything in between, then gives the user a final response. So this is what the final response will look like. So you see here, it's saying that it sounds like the user is feeling an upset stomach, and has some mild nausea since morning. Uh, now it gives you the recommendations, right? So the recommendation here is to schedule an appointment with the doctor and decide next steps that they can follow. They can either book an appointment, they can pay attention to how the symptoms are progressing, and if they wasn't, it is telling them to seek medical attention. So then it follows it with a flag that says this is not medical advice. If the patient is feeling very unwell, contact emergency services, right? So this is a simple simulation or demo of the case where the patient's symptoms are mild, right? So in the event the patient's symptoms is an emergency, it's serious and severe. It was for the one with the right-sided pain and slurred speech for 5 minutes. Right. So this is what happens now. Same thing, the same process. It goes through the symptom intake agent. From the symptom intake agent, it takes the symptoms and then takes next to the risk assessment agent. This now classifies this as a high risk symptom. So the high risk symptom now will invoke the location agent, right? And in the location agent here, you would see it will now ask it will not take the location that has been provided, which in this user's case was Nairobi. Then now you can see that it is providing coordinates and different of hospitals that exist uh, near around the Nairobi um, geography, right? The Nairobi space. So then this from the location agent now, so you can see it's running a lot of locations. Here, then we will see it goes to the escalation agent. Escalation now decides that this has to be escalated. So this is where it emphasizes that this needs to. It tells the escalation agent to explain to the user that this needs to be immediately attended to, right? So then it goes to the explanation agent. Now this is the final response, right? So it gives them action information. It's telling them it's a boldly emphasizing that they need to seek emergency medical care immediately. It's giving them safety precautions that they should not drive themselves. They should find someone else to call emergency services for them, and then they should try to remain calm and rest. Then it's giving them options of hospitals that are nearby them. Guardian Special Hospital is one. This frontline is one. Another one near Rural Hospital. Then it is giving them next steps that call the services, describe their symptoms, follow, give instructions that are given to them, and prepare to provide their location within Nairobi, right? So then it follows by the flag that says this is not a medical advice. If they are unwell, they contact emergency service. This is just a safety guard that we are implementing to ensure that the person using this knows that this is, in our case, the demo, they know that this is not is not to be used as a to rely on the medical advice, but to just to guide you and assist you, right? So this is essentially how the emergency triage agent is going to be working. And in here now we have test cases. Test cases here are just used to evaluate the entire thing for our evaluation purposes, right? So we also implement evaluation. So we have added different neurological and with no location. And then so here you would see when we run the test case with the emergency cardiac, so here we are able to evaluate the response and everything, evaluate the entire decision making process to also understand to know how to assess and tell how accurate or how reliable the agent is in executing such a task. Right? This is what the entire agent process was, and that the evaluation process was aimed at doing. And yes, everything passed, and we were able to validate that yes, this for this specific case it worked fine. For this specific case, also similar. And we did 3 tests from one mild and 2 severe ones, and they all passed fine. They all worked fine. The responses were exact. So you will see more of this when you go through my submit. After I submit, and you go through the pipeline and my notes as well. I'll be also submitting. I have done a project description as well. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to learn. We have really learned a lot during the course of these 5 days. And yeah, thank you so much. And this was my project for the capstone.